live. It's starting. It's saying starting. It's saying live on our Zoom and live on Facebook. So now you can tell people why they shouldn't be scared of me.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Change Position. This is our Monday Motivations, our live Facebook feed, and it is me, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro, with my fabulous co-host, Dr. Melissa Katie, who is looking like she had a very rough day. Those are not chocolate chips. However, they also are not any signs of abuse, not to make any light of that. But we'll talk about how was
How
your
the hell
week,
my
Dr.
face
Katie?
got like this?
Yeah, how are you doing, Dr. Katie?
I'm good. It looks like I'm hurting, but I don't even until I see myself in a mirror.
Who was looking? You had a very rough day.
Or in the camera.
They're not chocolate chips.
Are you playing us?
I'm trying to make any light of that. You know, freaking Facebook. We'll talk.
It just autoplay
this, and no, I can't click the stupid video to share it to my page anymore. Like, this is like, it just drives me crazy. I swear to God, whatever, Facebook and their things.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
anyway, sorry about that, folks. I will try to get it copied out because I'm trying to, we want to make sure people
share it.
So that we have different pages to share it to. And it used to be you click a button and Facebook would do it. And of course that was too easy and they have to change it to some other new thing. So anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I would say that I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Good.
So my chocolate chippy looking face here is mainly a little bruising from a minor facial type procedure. I have the privilege of working with plastic surgeons, so I have access and knowledge of some of the things that are out there. And so this one was called Profound Radio Frequency. It's like a radio frequency treatment, tiny little needles from lower obviously got me pretty good here on that right eye and all the way down to the upper neck. And there's some biopsy proven data that shows that there's an increase in elastin and collagen and hyaluronic acid within 6 months of, it's kind of a remodeling that occurs, kind of like the non-invasive facelift thing. I'm not one to be choosing to do a lot of things to my face. But obviously I took them up on this particular one since it's kind of a minimal discomfort type thing. So really haven't had any pain since procedure, and it's just a matter of being patient. And during this era of wearing masks, it's pretty easy to cover up, and other than looks like I got a black eye over here. But I'm usually in the surroundings of medical people, so they kind of understand and get it and know what's been going on. So I'm not too worried, but I'm not one to take the mask off with this. So we've noticed a lot of people that don't want to, like a lot of people that want to get like rhinoplasties or nose jobs or other facial procedures that they can cover up because they don't have to explain themselves. So there's, and they're home. A lot of people don't have to worry about the recovery aspect. So there's plastic surgery people is like, there's no slowdown right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's open the surgery centers. We got a couple comments. Number one, as you know, you didn't need anything done to your face. Not that anybody ever really needs anything done to their face. But I applaud you for your adventuresome spirit. I when I was in the Navy, hope we don't get in trouble for this, but we did everything. Like back when I was doing injections, and I don't do injections anymore, but we could do anything we wanted to. So we would have Botox. And one of our residents was really, really interested in this aesthetic stuff. And Botox, right? Oh, you can make a cash practice and do Botox. I'm like, whatever. But we had some leftover Botox one day. And I'm like, hey man, here we have some leftover. You want to do anything? He's like, sure. And so he injected my head, right? He's doing my wrinkles or whatever. And I thought it was a lark. And like the next week, all of a sudden, I hadn't seen him. I know he was off service or whatever. And he runs in. He goes, hold still. And he's looking at me. And I'm like, what? And he goes, oh, okay, you're okay. I'm like, what do you mean I'm okay? No. He's like, oh, I was reading, he's doing this by literally like reading a book or something. He's all, I injected you wrong. I'm like, well, how do you inject Botox wrong?
Too many units?
No, not too many units, but they make it so precise and you have to do it here and here, not I mean, Botox spreads and extravasation. So I think a lot of it isn't necessarily as nearly as technical as they make it out to be. But anyway, I survived. But so I like your adventuresome spirit. So it reminds me, you do this stuff, not because you have to do it, but it's because where you haven't gone before.
That's
It's
right.
it's a change. It's a change.
I'm the challenge doctor.
That's right.
And so I
You took the challenge of, hey, let me try this stuff out that people that I'm helping under anesthesia are having done.
I know. Well, and then I don't know if you saw, I posted on the Challenge Doctor YouTube and on my Instagram that I did my own IV for a little, just educational piece to show my IV being done by myself one-handed.
So
did
if
you
you
see
ever
that?
ended up with an IV drug problem, you'd be really good at it. Is that what you're basically saying?
No, I'm just saying that I was able to do it with one hand, and it was more of an adventure. Since you brought up adventures, being adventurous. Even when the doctor said, why'd you do that? Why would you do that? I don't know, just see if I could.
They climb mountains for the same reason. Why can't you start your own IV for that reason?
I don't know. It's kind of my field, and it's if I was stuck in a bad predicament and I could do it for myself, I guess is.
So did you put the tourniquet on and everything by yourself?
You haven't seen it. My goodness.
Seen it. No, I don't.
Oh, well, you know what? Let me just show a little segment.
Okay. Here,
let me pull it up.
Start your own IV with Dr. Melissa Katie.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God. I have to show you. And people can find it on the Challenge Doctor YouTube. So I'll just share and just show you a little segment.
Okay.
And let's see. Can you see that?
I can see that.
Actually, I'm gonna stop the share. I'm gonna share something in just the portion of the screen so I can. Let's see here. Well, maybe I'll just go back to that. That should work fine. Okay. I don't know if you can hear it. I got some.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Country music. All right, I'll just scoot to the doing my own tourniquet.
There you go. That's the hard part. How'd you get it tight?
How to get it tight?
Yeah.
I've
tried that before. Again, not because
what?
I've tried to do a one-handed tourniquet before. It's not easy.
It's hard to hear you, I guess, when I play this stuff.
No, I just was saying it's hard to do a one-handed tourniquet. I've tried that.
I guess. Before. Can I keep showing you?
Well, I'm sure they're as fascinated as I am. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. Now I'm gonna see what size IV are you putting in? Are you putting in something challenging or? That's the hard part. It's like you have to get the skin tension on there. You're a little okay. Dun dun dun. Oh, this is almost like it's like IV tutorial at the same time. How sweet is that? That's great.
Okay, wait for
Maybe we
it.
should have put a warning on that because some people get all weirded out about.
I know. Look away.
Look away. Look away.
There you go.
Oh, that's great. Very nicely done. I'm impressed. You have beautiful veins, by the way.
Yep. So there you go.
Oh yeah, those are nice veins. Nice veins. My family thinks I'm weird when I do that. Like, those are beautiful veins.
There we go. I have to stop it because I can't hear you real well. So now I can.
You didn't hear my whole little thing. I was just blabbing all in there talking about that.
You were blabbing, but I couldn't understand you.
I think that's normal, right? You just had an excuse this time.
Anyway, so I had fun editing that yesterday.
Very cool. Very cool.
Just to be me, something about editing videos and creating things. Just
that's awesome. No,
makes it fun.
It is. That's I am happy that makes you fun because then I don't have to worry about editing the videos.
You're doing it,
which I can't really stand that stuff. I just don't enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
Or very little.
It's okay. I've realized I'm very different than most people.
It's true. That's true. But I think we are all very different than most people.
Yes.
Or we all feel that we're most different. We're probably not really that different, but we all feel that we're very different.
Well, some of us, I actually had fun doing that while other people want to pass out, panic attack, all variations of the nervousness or anxiety that comes with an IV. But it's very well known to me, so it's not unfamiliar or a threat.
That actually brings up an interesting point about threat, because I had my first COVID vaccine this weekend, which was super exciting for me. And I like to watch them when they give me, I don't get a lot of thoughts or whatever, but I watch, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I was kind of curious, being pain and knowing all these little kind of hints and things. I'm like, what am I going to do? I didn't even feel anything. I was like, nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I did, because we were taking a long time, almost, because they put the vaccine on next day. I was like, man, would they get mad if I just grab that and do it myself? Because this is taking a long time. I just want to get it done. But I did not do that. But anyway, it's sort of interesting. And then I'm always fascinated that people can get so nervous about needles. I understand that. And yet, rather than trying to challenge that or confront that and try to improve it, they just are like, oh, I have needle phobia, and they don't do anything about it. And I heard some like ridiculous stuff about people actually getting prescriptions to benzos to get COVID shots.
And that's so ridiculous.
It is insane. And folks, if you're listening to this, we're not downplaying anxiety. We're not downplaying phobias or anything like that. But there comes a point where if you are not challenging yourself to actually improve from the scenario, it actually only will get worse, because now you're feeding this fear, and then the phobia is not getting better. And it was very distressful when I heard that. And and particularly some of the ages involved. I was like, are you insane? I can't believe people are doing this stuff. Who would prescribe that?
Yeah, it's very interesting how people consider it like, there's people that can have a tendency, I do believe that there's a lot of components. Could be, the question is it genetic? Is it your environment? Is it, some bad trauma that happened, cumulative events, the way that it was perceived at the time? Like, there's so many things that you say that influence that. But, there's just I just see too many people thinking as like, just once you are that, you're always that, versus like the capacity to change. And it's not necessarily overnight, but you have to learn, I call it the Jedi mind tricks. I mean, you've got to, and I do this in my pre-ops online, is that, whatever you can do to help yourself feel safe, or to redesign the perspective or shift your perspective on how you're interpreting it. Because if you're interpreting whatever it is in life as a threat, or that you're not capable, or an insecurity, I mean, everything from stress, pain, anxiety. I tell my patients when they have some issues like that, all three of those are just forms of like your body trying to protect you. And so whatever you can do to help yourself feel safe, and distraction can work for short term, but you've got to be able to have those Jedi mind tricks to be able to help yourself get through it. And a shot is literally like seconds for it to be done.
Milliseconds.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
Right. And people don't realize it's the anticipation. It's what your brain is doing to you that's leading up to this whole buildup of anxiety and panic, and nothing's been done to you yet. So if you really think of it in those terms, like, you're perceiving a threat. You don't like it. Nobody really likes it. Very few people do. But you have to look at the reward versus, or benefits versus risk. And so, just suck it up, buttercup. Sometimes you just have to deal with it. But you've got to, knowing who you are, you got to put yourself in the best frame of mind to be able to handle that. So anyway, I'm a little bit of a tough love, because you're not going to build any resilience by cowering down and thinking that you're just the way you are and you can't change.
Yeah. Well, and that hits a lot of themes that we've talked about over the past 8 months of the change physician, right? Being aware enough. That really comes down to that fixed versus growth mindset. And we can call that many different ways. But if you believe that you're permanently stuck and fixed, and you continue to feed that, you're never going to grow. And it's just astounding to me. And you look at this little teeny thing, it's like, take those moments to just kind of challenge those fears a little bit, touch them, play with them a little bit, and grow from them. rather than is you feed the fear, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, it's I think if there we've talked about health before, and one of the biggest issues I see with the health, well, one of the many issues with the healthcare system in general, and we're going now to the patient client side, is this whole being fed this idea that we're these sick, weak, resilient things, or not resilient things, sick, weak, broken things that need fixing all the time, that
Yep.
are somehow, if something goes wrong, that's just how it is. And then someone needs to fix you it's just, oh man, the diseasification of the human, of the human condition is just so distressful to me.
Yep. Yep. I just put in a hashtag challenge your fears in our, and then I put FYI, Dr. Katie's face is bruised due to a recent facial radiofrequency procedure. In case anyone's just chiming in the middle of this.
What's wrong with you, Dr. Katie?
What is wrong? Why would you put yourself on video to be recorded?
You have smallpox.
That's right. But it's okay. I'm challenging myself to be okay with this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your courage. That's for sure.
Oh, well, I'm kind of I think it's part of just the life and the training and the field I'm in that kind of makes me, I don't know, just, I'm kind of a, I don't know how to describe it. I'm just more of a pragmatic, minimalistic, kind of person who can compartmentalize really well, which is not always a good thing in some situations, and can sometimes repress feelings that don't realize you have because you're so good at compartmentalizing. So that's the phase of the 40s somethings that I'm in, that emotional awareness and growth in those areas is probably where I'm at right now. So versus my 20s and 30s, you're just kind of like living, just by the seat of your pants, just trying to survive, get through training and all this other stuff. Now you like take a breath and you're realizing, okay, what's life all about, and what is it I want to do with my life, and what's important, and where can I improve upon myself? Not that you asked for me to answer all that, but there you go.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, when you did the compartmentalized thing, I was like, are you boxing? Like boxing up?
It looks like it from here.
No. I'm like,
I know.
Has this thing. Like, when you talk about compartmentalizing, she's gonna kill me. She's like, yes, because she used to have a really stressful job, and she's like, I just get mad at these people because they're all saying they're stressed all the time, and she's like, you just take all that and you put it in a box and you lock it up and it goes away. I'm like, you can't do that forever.
No,
lock it up in the box. You lock it up in the box. I'm like, that gives you health issues. But
yeah.
So I'm like,
called subconscious is still present.
Compartmentalizing. I hope you can kind of separate it for a while, but eventually you have to open the box and process whatever's in that box.
Right. Otherwise you're ignoring who you are.
Yeah. Or it's like the telltale heart, it's like beating in the background with the down in the whatever, when Poe's guy killed that guy and put him in the floor and then paved him over, and then he heard the heart beat.
Oh God.
You don't remember that story? The telltale heart? Oh, and
No.
then it drove him crazy because he was hearing the heart bump, 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 bump. Oh, it's a great story. It's a great story. But the long and short of it is, don't box all this stuff up and stick it into a cement thing, because it will come out and make you crazy.
You have to deal with it, which makes you think about dealing with, anxiety and all these other things we're talking about in building resilience. The question, and I know that motivational interviewing, I think, acceptance and commitment there. I don't know, there's all these different approaches, but my thought, I always think it's interesting. Do you want the pain now or the pain later? And which pain is too much for you? Like facing your fears or facing that challenge, is that pain? Is that more painful than sweeping under the rug and like letting it build and become worse of a problem? Like, I always think it's interesting. Which pain would you rather have? Deal with it now, as uncomfortable as it is, to kind of work through it and go through it and feel those feelings to get them kind of like through your system, versus like pummeling straight ahead, put it in your little box, letting it build, and you have no idea how the manifestations are going to unravel themselves. And then that pain is actually worse. But at that point, it's not necessarily in your conscious control, or you're not necessarily in control of that kind of situation, versus handling it, dealing with it, and making the conscious choice to move through it at that moment.
The aware choice.
The what?
I was going to say the aware choice, because if
Yes.
you're aware of that moment, right?
Yeah.
That's different than repressing it and then not perhaps watching it manifest in a way that you may not be aware of.
Right.
And I've seen that. Yeah, it's interesting because we see a lot of that actually in the pain world, right? Is in our particular community, we have people who have done pretty well with the pain thing, but they haven't quite stepped beyond just pain to see how this stuff works. And then what you see is a sort of flare of other stress related conditions. Or should they say health conditions that get amplified by stress. So if you have irritable bowel or inflammatory disorders, you'll kind of see those surfacing. You may not have the pain anymore, but you may see something rebound in another area. That's kind of telling you just kind of, you got to see what else is going on and seeing how that stress physiology interplay is with who you are. But yeah, it's always Absolutely. Good advice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know, I prefer, maybe it's just funny how kind of your life unravels. Even what I called myself, or the title for the challenge doctor, like I don't know if it's just kind of like I've created that path, and now I'm like, I feel like staying in that. I think it's really just who I am, and that's why the name I came up with. I feel like dealing with things, because I haven't always, but I feel like, challenging yourself, like you just feel good about it. You feel when you actually put yourself through whatever challenge it is, just for the sake of like taking that I guess less passive path, makes you feel good about yourself and achieving something. And then in the end, you really benefit from it and not make things harder on yourself later.
Oh, you're growing rather than stagnating, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't mean just like mentally, but I mean even physically too. Like,
well, it's all growth. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of work together. Yeah.
Yes. Well, there's so many things that we can discuss from there. Actually, all sorts of stuff. But maybe we should recap what we did on the podcast.
Yeah. So last week, let's see, that would be Nithya Natarajan. She's a family medicine physician who has transitioned into a lactation counselor or certified lactation counselor who has been from the patient side. That is the last week, correct? Yes.
That was Monday last week.
What's that?
That was like Sunday last week. But that's that was last week.
So am I on the right track?
You are. You're gonna go Nithya.
Okay. Okay. I thought you were trying to throw me into the next week. So anyway, she has it's really cool because she's really kind of launching in that direction, and it's really neat to talk to people that are kind of freshly like exploring that, because talking about challenge and anxieties and stress and like the unknown, you kind of have to be willing to kind of put yourself out there and just learn as you go sometimes. So I really love that she's taken on that challenge, and on top of it, she's a mother of multiple children and one coming. So just the things she's been through and providing all these services for the peripartum time period, and for those who have had an unexpected loss, I just think she has some remarkable services that, as a physician and as a counselor with when it comes to lactation and other peripartum kind of issues, what a great resource. So you have to check out that episode, and there's some links to where you can find her. And we did a host chat on wants versus needs. We kind of dive into how we distinguish between those and things that we can consider to make our lives a little bit easier based on that. And then the week coming up, Dr. Giovanni Rondo, which is actually, it's actually this week, as you corrected me. She's an internal medicine physician who's also gone into direct primary care, and it's called GOBL MD. Is that right? GOBL MD. Yeah. And she's just a remarkable energy. It was her first time ever being on a podcast. It was just it was just cool to be able to connect with someone like her. So Dr. Rondo, check out episode 84. And then this coming Thursday, relationships is a chat that we had. It kind of stemmed off of our other one. So we made it into a new episode. And we talk about personal relationships and kind of how they intertwine with, our overall professional lives. And it's sometimes hard to extricate those from each other. So take a listen to our chat with one another on that. And I guess I should have shifted to what's coming up on. I think I was one episode off where I started, but should I mention the next one or should we wait until?
I think you can, and then we'll mention it again.
So we had a returning guest that's going to be showing up next Sunday, Monday for our release, episode 86, Dr. Colin Zhu. He's the chef doc. And we had a chat about kind of the strategies surrounding what busy professionals and perspectives too, not just some strategies, but perspectives on how to eat healthier. And even surrounding the dilemma of the pandemic and some realizations of kind of what's important and reframing self-care and why that's so important. And also he has an online summit coming up for general public and for professionals. It touches on all aspects of general wellness and definitely nutrition. So that's coming out in May, but it's an evergreen product. So you'll have at least, I don't know as far as evergreen purchasable, but it definitely, once you purchase it, you'll have it available for as long as you want to keep it or look at it. So check out episode 86, and we'll have some other host chats coming up also. And next Monday Motivations or our next Facebook Live, we'll talk about some other upcoming episodes. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think you hit it all.
I hit it a little extra.
Oh, it's always better that way, a little more than a little less, but
yeah.
So yeah. So how'd last week go other than
my little face episode?
Well, was that your motivation? I can't remember if that was your thing or not.
Don't remember. I don't, I promise every time I'm going to write this down. We need to put it in the thread.
We should put it in the thread. I thought we did that sometimes, but.
Well, I would say that I have nothing to say about last week other than my sleep cycle is a little off and I just got caught up a little bit over the weekend. And this week is all about healing. So sleep helps healing.
Sleep's good.
Some good nutrition too helps. So that's my boring last week and this coming week. And I guess the little video I showed you was a little fun gig that I did. But yeah, it's supposed to be a lot of rain. It's going to feel like Oregon here this week.
Yeah, it's all sunny here. Sunny and no clouds.
Oh yeah, it's sunny now. We're supposed to get thunderstorms tonight and then it rains for like the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So what's exciting in your Oregonian world?
In the Oregonian world, well, when it comes to motivation, I've only been motivated to do a couple things. And
visit with me online on Zoom.
Yeah, that's one of them. But I'll often be the strength training thing. It's awesome and that's progressing. And so I am transitioning to a 50-pound kettlebell, which is exciting. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking as I was doing it, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? Because I turned 48 this year. I will be turning 50 in 2 years, obviously, if you can do addition. 48 plus 2 is 50.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am going to do this. By the time I'm 50, I'm going to be able to do this with a 100-pound kettlebell. And so that is my new motivation. That's my
so it's thing. Not the Marriott, it's the kettlebell.
Well, the Marriott, that's number 2, right? So the Marriott thing is we are now, this was our penultimate stay, was this weekend. So we actually went up and took the kids. And it's such a dumb thing. Like we got this room and we went and got food and then we ate it in the hotel room and then we watched a movie. It was like,
you just have a different environment. That's all.
Okay, wait, how was this? Was this good for you guys? And they're like, yeah, it's a change of pace, whatever. But yeah, it's something exciting. So this was the penultimate. I already have the next one scheduled in 2 weeks and then we'll hit it. And we'll hit the 50 nights for platinum. And then I don't know what we're going to do after that. Who knows whatever, but I'll have to think of something else to work towards. But 2 years, I think that's a good time frame. And at least I have something I'm going to work on for 2 years. I was pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
It'll be kind of cool. Yeah.
Be stronger Kevin in 2 years.
I know I've talked about this, but I freaking love this program. It's like insane.
Love
like
it.
it is so simple, which I absolutely love.
But it activates a lot of stuff.
It activates everything because but you're the trainer or whatever. You need those like burst energy, like if you're talking like a hit, something that's like really, really intense with periods of rest.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need time under tension for the whole muscular development thing. And with these 2 exercises, you get both. Because you're doing swings, which are just like, boom, you're hitting it. And then as the kettlebell goes up, you're sort of have this little brief rest period. And I do 10 sets of 10. And then the Turkish get-ups, it's all time under tension because you just are, your whole body's under tension the whole time. So I just really enjoy it. And I'm a lot stronger because we had to change out my wife's snow tires. She's got studs because Oregon's one of those crazy places. Like we don't want to play for snow equipment. So wear stud tires between November and April so we can pay to finish the roads that get torn up by all these stud tires. Yeah. But yeah, just grabbing the tires like, wow, man, this is a lot easier. It's like, oh, these are so much lighter now. So it's kind of fun.
Nice. Well, whenever my husband and I get to visit you all up there, I'll have to do your little workout thing. You take me through your workout.
It's only 2 exercises.
Hey,
that's it. That's
doesn't
all
matter.
it is. It's awesome.
I like simplicity. Oh, I didn't even mention, of course, I turned 47 last week. So that was kind of a big thing. I was supposed to go to a winery or whatnot, but decided to push it off for a couple weeks and let my face clear out and not scare people. But anyway,
cool.
Sorry, I interrupted you in your.
No, you had a birthday. That's much more important. So.
No, you were talking about coming up on 50 here in a couple of years, and so I was like, oh yeah, I did have a birthday last week.
There's that was the other thing I was wondering because I know you didn't quite make it to March, which is like the birthday month for all the best people in the world. But you're
like my husband.
Yeah, well, obviously. And I have no bias around that. It just happens to be that my birthday's in March.
Oh, how convenient.
I know it is. I was very lucky, but I know a crap ton of people with April birthdays.
Yeah.
And so what that makes me think, right, is then you go back.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay, summer baby, summer sex.
That must be it because there are so many of them. Like April is like, holy moly, there's a lot of April people, a lot of March people too. And then it'll taper off, and then you get these sort of like sporadic stuff. Have you noticed? Like, is that with your friends and family too, or they kind of spread? I just have a huge grouping of people starting about a third of the way into March until the end of April. It is a chunk. Like almost everybody I know has a birthday now.
A lot of March Aprils that I know. Yeah. Not all for sure, but there's definitely a predominance.
Proportion. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Now the thing to check is if on the southern hemisphere it's reverse. So maybe it would be October.
So you got a lot of September babies, maybe in Australia?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask some of my friends now. I'll ask them my friends and report back when I know. Because now
you get back to us on that. It's an order.
People have babies in Australia.
So what else do we have to talk about today? Did we cover it all?
I think we covered it all. I think we actually started off with most of the motivation. Well, at least for the chat on stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
This was a reverse episode.
Yeah, we usually do it the other way around.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, what are you going to work on this next? Oh, you said healing. You're going to work on healing this week.
I'm just, it's all about the healing and resting and and start taking it up in the next week or two. I'll start picking up on my exercise a little bit too. Yeah.
Keep on doing. And then I'm giving a presentation for the Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons of Oregon on Sunday. So I need to revise that. So that's going to be my week.
What are you going to talk about?
What do I always talk about?
Stress or pain or both?
It's almost always pain. Like stress is not, I don't usually talk about stress to the physician or healthcare audiences.
Yeah.
But it's pain. And this one's going to be for ER. It's the ER track. So it's more like acute care stuff, but it's all pain. It's all the same, but it should be interesting. We'll see.
You've got it down. You've been doing this a while.
A long time. Yeah. They wanted me to record it. And I'm like, I don't want to record it. I just let me do it. Like, it's just so much easier. Cause then you're like, oh, you can record it and then sit there and take comments. I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, let me just record it live. Cause there's a different vibe anyway.
Yeah.
And, yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm going to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Thanks.
Well, good luck on that. Not that you need luck, but have fun with that.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Well, I guess I'll take us out if that's good with you.
I think you can or should or whatever.
Okay. Well, for those of you still watching or listening, thank you for putting up with my chocolate chip looking face. And I'm Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, here with my awesome Oregonian guest, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro. And if you haven't heard of the Change Physician, and you just happen to swing by this video, you can go to thechangephysician.com and check out our community and join us, whether you're a physician or a physician ally. And of course, our podcast episodes that we speak of, you can go and check out iTunes or all the other venues where you can find podcasts nowadays. And feel free to rate, review, or comment. We always love to find those and give you a shout out if we see your comment. So thank you for joining us again today on the Monday Motivations, and we'll see you again on another Facebook Live or on our future episodes. Take care.
Take care, folks.